welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that doesn't claim to be pretty, God no, but we will happily pretend to be slightly competent. I am your host, Steve Council, and I'm joined by my co-host, the only person whose New Year's resolution is to not scare every child that sees him, Mr. Patrick Ailshire.
I will say, though, that's a good, get that out of the way first. The resolution versus the resolution. It's perfect.
This would not be an episode of Grossly Competent if I didn't screw up basic words. Like, if I just didn't mispronounce words, it wouldn't be a proper episode.
Well, Steve, it's good to hear you. I don't know about good to see you. However, I do want to say Happy New Year. It appears that you have arrived in 2026 with the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
But with the same face, which is grossly unfortunate.
Wow. I know we are going to definitely get into some of the conversations and some of the things that have taken place over we just realized 2.5 weeks since Mr. Patrick and I, since we've spoken. So we have a lot of things to catch up on. And I had quite a few people during my little family gatherings ask me, where did the name Grossly Competent come from? Which leads me to realize they haven't actually listened. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Or it just kind of went over it, but it is all good. At least we had quite a few people that had said that they've been listening, which I thought was very sweet of them. But with all of that, who's our sponsor this week to bring out the 2026 that is in all of us? Who's gonna help us with that?
Today's show is brought to you by Resolution-A-tions Systems, helping people quit their goals with dignity since January 3rd. Featuring built-in excuses like, I'm being gentle with myself, and I'll restart next Monday. Resolution-A-tions Systems, because ambition shouldn't be uncomfortable.
Oh, wow. Thank you, big Resolution-A-tions Systems. This is probably a good time to bring it up. Do you do a resolution, or do you have one that you wanted to start for 2026?
So I don't have anything particularly in mind this year. There's nothing that I've written out yet. I will share, though, in previous years I have had them and they've gone over well. So I mean, nice. I have a couple things like I want to make sure I'm accomplishing this year, but nothing that I've necessarily written out in stone. It's more just basically ideas. Cool. I think since just this New Year being, towards the end of the week, I haven't really sat down and kind of plotted out, which is my plan for this next week. But I will say in 2024, one of my favorite resolutions was to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I've shared this on other podcasts before. Yeah. And I know we've talked about it before, but I left it kind of open-ended and I wanted to come naturally. And so what I've had happen with that in 2024 was I took adult ice skating lessons. Oh, wow. Because I realized that, oh God, I don't think I know how to skate. I was walking by the local Milwaukee downtown ice rink and I said, oh, that looks fun. And then I was a block up the road and was like, wait a minute, that's not fun. I don't think I know how to skate. So I went back, I had skated in 20 some years. And so I went and took some adult ice skating lessons for 6 weeks. It was great. I joined a social tennis league. I started my own podcast in 2024. Did. It was, there was a lot going on and it was basically stepping out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And that was probably one of my favorite memories of resolutions. How about you?
I think I am going to resolve to, the only thing, boy, what a string of nonsense that was. Much like you, legitimately, much like you, I haven't really sat down to think a ton about it. One of the things I did set up for, and I'm trying to build out what the schedule will look like to get me in prep for it, is uh, listeners out there, some of you have actually seen me in physical form and said to yourself, well, now that is a specimen. Whether it's like a Stranger Things specimen or something. But I do legitimately like run on a regular basis, even though everything that's physically about me would tell you otherwise. And I have told myself that my original goal a couple years back, maybe it was like 3-4 years ago, I don't know, something like that. It was like, I want to run a 10K easily. Like I wanted to be able to like run a 10K and just be like, okay. And I just kind of kept on that. And I really want to push myself more this year. And now I really want to do a minimum a half marathon.
Awesome.
So I'm looking at some of the ones that are in the area for either like summer or beginning of fall, like somewhere in this. So I have enough time to really ramp myself up. And I'm just trying to look at like what the schedule would look like for me. Like what point do I want to be at by when to be able to run on a consistent basis. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. That is about as far as I've gotten, but I like to at least have 3 that I have throughout the year. Something like a short term, a longer term, and then kind of like something I can do just throughout the year. Maybe it's like a personality thing or like just be better about doing this. It's just something I can, so at the end of the year, I can realize what I did or did not do. So yeah, I would say the half marathon would be my mid-term one, like something that has a deadline, but it's farther out so I can strive towards it.
Yeah. I love that. I think using the word, resolution or like your ambitions or goals, I think it's important. Again, one of mine I'm kind of thinking of now as far as like my reading goal. So I use Goodreads.
Oh yeah.
Some of my family and friends are on there. So it's fun to kind of bounce reviews off each other. And I did not hit my reading goal last year. Okay. And so I need to kind of reset. I really want to try to hit, it's like 2 books a month. So I want to try to hit like 25 because I did that a couple years ago. This year, I think I hit 17, but it turned out I was kind of busy. I ran a marathon. I started a business. I had a couple podcasts going. So it turns out I was a little busy, but I want to make sure I dedicate that time because it's there. I just need to obviously like prioritize. And so that's probably one that I'll want to set. And I like to mix between like self-improvement, but also fiction. So I kind of bounce back and forth just to switch it up a little bit.
So let me ask you this, as far as the reading, you wanted to hit 25 books, so roughly 2 a month, if not a bit more. The prior year, so in 24, what kind of a rate were you at? Were you?
My goal for 2020. So 2024 was 25 and I read 25. And then in this past year, I was like, I'm going to duplicate those efforts. But I think I read 16 or 17. So
yeah. And I think it's kind of an important thing. I know in your resolution evasion systems sponsorship, you kind of mentioned like I'm being gentle with myself, that kind of thing. But I do think you have to give some credit where it's due that at the beginning of 25, in no possible way could you, or at the end of 24, excuse me, there's no possible way you could have seen where you were going to be by the end of 25.
Right.
You started Zero Proof Pass. You were indulging into multiple podcasts. So you're doing all these different ventures, which of course soak up your time. So I do think that that's extremely valid.
For sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I think it's really important too for listeners too out there that I think just the restart of, the calendar year and having some sort of thing, whether to look forward to or to strive for is important. So people are like, I don't set those resolutions. It's like, well, okay. Like when during the year do you like plan out? Do you write stuff down? Do you journal? Do you have ambition? Like, I think that it's just, it's an important time of year. And I don't think it is like a, faux pas or whatever to say like, it's a good thing to have, to be able to have something to look after. So even with your example of training for that marathon, right? You're already thinking about it and you'll narrow it down when you want to have it, when you want to train by, get that calendar and that schedule out there, but it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I have the time of year down. Like, I want to participate,
Sure.
like within the months of, say, like July to September.
Okay.
Like, so I'm just trying to figure out what's in the area. But yes, to your credit, I agree. That's all part of making a valid resolution. Is you have specific metrics that you need to abide by that will help you. And that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how many miles do I want to be at by X point, which is a realistic goal too. Yeah,
I would recommend
yeah.
I would recommend just waking up on a random Saturday and saying, this is the day. And just going for it. Just no training.
Yeah.
Just run. And you text me if you need some help. I will come pick you up. I will send the motorcade over, and I don't know.
Will you pick me up, or will you find where I am and record me? So you can
obviously we're gonna live record Grossly Competent with Stephen Cornelius on the ground.
Ooh. Now I like where you're going with this.
Steve, I noticed your running apparel is as ugly as your mask.
Yeah, we should do that at the end of the half marathon. You'll be waiting there with the microphone, and then we can just dive right in and be like, yeah, let's do this. You have tons of energy, Steve, so why don't we just do this? And I'll be like, oh, God, that is kill me. No, I agree with you, though, that I do genuinely, sincerely think that this time of year, the beginning of the year, even if you don't have something right away, this is a great opportunity. It's a blank slate for the year. Right. And I know you can say that about any month, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen in March or whatever, but this is a great opportunity for you to say, like, okay, this is where I am now. Where would I love for me to be by the end of the year? And try to set up game plan and maybe make a lofty goal and try to figure out ways to get to that. And if you don't make it entirely, it's okay to be kind to yourself, but at least if you give it an honest try. You can't do there's no resolution I hate more than, like, I want to lose weight. How? I'm gonna change nothing. But I am going to get a membership, and I'm never going to use it. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. As long as we got that down pat.
It sounds silly, but it comes down to SMART goals. You have to just be as specific as possible. So
without a doubt.
Yeah, I think that's just the way to go about it. And again, you can always readjust and reevaluate as it doesn't have to be the calendar year, but the idea behind that is it's a fresh start and it's a new year, and I think it's a good time. But Steve, before we get into our topic today, I thought it would be good to I want to share a story that just happened actually over the weekend. And it revolves a previous topic that we talked about, and that was the two token theory.
All right.
Yeah. So
let's do this.
We talked about the business I have started, which is Zero Proof Pass, which is the non-alcoholic passport program, which started here in Milwaukee.
And if they would ever like to sponsor Grossly Competent,
yes.
I don't know who happens to run that business, but please get in contact with us. We would be happy to work something out. Continue.
We are so far in the red. I can't even. I'm kidding. We'll talk about that later. But
that's fine. Yeah,
I attended NA Day, which was at a venue downtown Milwaukee, sponsored by an organization called Milwaukee Record. And essentially, it's a ticketed event, so the public can come in. They spend like $20, and then there was 30 vendors. And they had like close to 50 samples of different NA drinks. So that was wine, that was beer, that was spirits. There was some CBD and THC stuff too. So it was just non-alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
And so, kind of a wild story. And I have to share this on my social media at some point, probably before even this recording comes out. Maybe after, we'll see. But what happened was, again, I haven't had a drink in a year and a half. And so all these vendors are serving NA options. And so the vendor next to me had NA spirits. Okay. And so the couple guys were working, they were pouring a lot of samples and they were letting me try a couple. And I'm like, oh, these are really good. And it's like nice. You can have a NA spirit mix with some other stuff that's not alcoholic and make it a pretty good drink. So
Yeah.
at one point, the other gentleman in this group was pouring some other stuff, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to take a sip of this?" And I said, "Sure." Like, what is it? And he's like, "Well, it's similar to Jägermeister." And I was like, I didn't really like Jägermeister in my drinking days, but I'll try it out if it's why not? So I take a sip, and then I like put it down. It was a like small Dixie cup. I mean, I took like minimal amount, right? And it was a small little sipper. I'm like, oh, try it out. Mm-hmm. And I set it down, and the guy next to him looks at this guy that gave me that, and he goes, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? He doesn't drink. Like, why are you pouring?" It was the guy had. Oh. He was just pouring a little bit of booze for himself at this event, like because it was not illegal, but like because the bar that we had it at the venue was serving alcohol, like didn't serve alcohol. Obviously in the course, but like they had a bar there. If you wanted to go get a drink, you could, right?
Okay, sure.
But he had brought his own stuff and was pouring like little shots essentially. And so I took a sip and I was like, and I put it down and I didn't even think about it or realize it. And the guy was like, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, it's an NA event. You can't be pouring alcohol. Like,
so I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. So the sample that he gave you of this Jaeger or whatever
wasn't for like the public, he was just pouring it kind of behind his table.
So it was actually alcoholic.
So I kind of, again, I wasn't a trigger, obviously, because I quit on my own accord. It wasn't like I had to. I just was tired of hangovers and all that. So I could tell the guy felt really bad, and and he goes, oh, he's going to be giving me crap the rest of the day. And I kind of laughed at first, but I went up to him a minute later and I said, hey, like, don't feel guilty. Like, I understand, it happens. Like, it's not a trigger. It happens. Mm-hmm. But what happened was kind of going back to this whole two token theory, right? I thought about, circling back to that whole idea of how could I have responded? Now, again, anyone who has had, issues with alcohol, like that could be possibly a trigger, right? Going into a bar or whatever, being served alcohol without it. So, but I could have responded a couple of ways. It could have been that initial, like, what the hell are you doing? Oh my God, and being all upset, and then how is he going to respond to that? But I took it as the like, okay, I didn't take a whole swig. It wasn't a full shot. It wasn't a bottle or anything or a full beer. It was like, okay, like I don't want any more of that. I'll be okay. Yeah. He clearly felt bad about it. And I responded that way, which then allowed him, he actually felt very guilty. And he said, I'm so sorry.
Sure.
I feel really bad about that. And we had a nice little conversation.
Dude, yes. Like, isn't it? It's so wild when I know I'm a broken record, but it is so wild when that theory was introduced to me, how often I see it play out in the real world, in my own personal life. Like, and that's so cool. It's unfortunate that happened to you, but it's cool that you were able to see that play out in such a way that you could actually like take a step back. Like, if I would have responded in a different way, how would that interaction have gone?
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And it wasn't like, and again, I didn't think it wasn't like, oh, I need to. Now, when I tell people, when's the last time you drank? I don't have to say, oh, January 3rd. No, it's been a year and a half still, right? It was like, one of those things where people have like their counters and stuff. And I obviously I can always go check how long has it been since my last time? But like, it's not something I need to worry about because I just don't want to drink anymore. So that part of it's still there too, but it was fortunately turned out to be a more of a funny story or better story of the example of it versus like, someone that could have had really a different reaction to that.
Oh, if it was to happen to anybody, it's a very fortunate thing that it happened to you.
Yeah.
Like, in this instant, I mean, genuinely, because there are individuals out there, of course. I mean, let's just set the record straight. Patrick and I, we live in Wisconsin, and we have a very, very established culture in this state around drinking. Like, it's no secret to anybody ever. Hell, we might have to do a podcast exclusively on that because it is bonkers in this state. Like, it is. So especially at an NA event, for God's sake. Love that so much. This guy's like, I have to be at this NA event. Like, I better just even out my get a buzz going.
I was talking to another vendor
God,
who was part
so
of
funny.
who's part of the passport program. They were there
Mhm.
too, and I told him, I said, "Oh my God, the funniest thing just happened like an hour ago." I said, "This guy gave me booze." They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I know, at the NA event." They're like, "It's 4 hours. Like, you couldn't abstain for like."
No. What day of the week was this?
This was a Saturday.
So was that the second?
It was
or
the third.
The
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, maybe it was a little bit of hair of the dog or something.
So,
like that,
well, the
but,
best part was then. So I explained. I said, I don't drink. I stopped a year and a half ago. I said,
Yeah.
but again, don't, like, it's okay. Like, I just told him the story of why I stopped or whatever. And then he goes, okay, well, because we were talking about good NA beer that I like. You know? Then he goes, well, have you ever done this? Like, he goes, what I recommend doing is you take your Guinness Zero, which is I'd say a very formidable NA beer for comparing to the original. So it's one of my favorites. He goes, you pour that into like, a nice 20-ounce mug or whatever, or glass. And then he goes, and then you top it off with regular Guinness. And I'm like, okay, dude, like I don't I don't want the regular Guinness. But he goes, trust me, it's so good. And I was like, well, I believe you, but you just gave me booze, dude. I don't want alcohol right now.
Like, I went to the last night. Just last night, I went to the movies with my wife. Like my in-laws took the kids, and it was super nice of them to do. And we decided to go see a movie. So we went to go see Anaconda, like that comedy with Jack Black and stuff like that. And the thing that my wife and I always do is when we go to the movies, because we're not huge soda drinkers, but what we do, we'll always do like the diet half and then the regular half of it. Like, and that's funny. That's exactly what that guy's doing. He's like, except he's doing it at like the totally wrong event.
Well, it's smart. It's smart in theory of like you don't want to get totally buzzed up or whatever, but you're telling that to a person that just told you they don't drink, and he's like, but you got to try it.
Hey, I have an idea. The next time you make a vodka tonic, instead of pouring a 3-count pour, just do a 1-count. What? Like, no, dude. The whole point is I don't want to drink. Yeah, but you aren't. Wink.
This is the NA event.
I want to meet this guy so badly. You're like, all right, dude, we need to talk about like ratios. Like, let's just have this conversation. The NA group wants 0. It's a pretty easy number to follow. You following me? Oh my gosh.
So, I'm gonna leave a review on Google. 4 out of 5 stars. I got served alcohol.
Yeah. This was a great NA event, especially because I left with a buzz. Jeez. Wow. Well, interestingly, my 2 token
yes, I want to hear this.
Experience is not nearly as funny. Like, at all, as a matter of fact. For Christmas, we got my daughter an Alexa for her room because she's a huge music lover. Yeah. So is my son. So he already has his. And now we have like dueling Alexas in like 2 rooms. They're like, oh my gosh. So
do they, since I have just an apartment, I've always only had one, but do they sync up? Do they talk?
No, they don't talk to each other.
Okay.
No, not at all. And like we were able to configure things, so it's nice and easy. All is well. It's great. But I didn't realize, and I gotta give Amazon credit that like any of the stuff that you get of theirs, they make it really easy to set up. Like, yes, you can be the dumbest person on the planet and set it up exceedingly easy. Like, it's wild. So I was setting up her Alexa, and we have it where like you enable, like, it's called Amazon Kids. And what that does for Amazon Music is it creates filters so they can't go trying to find Rack City by Tyga, for example. Like, it's
Rack City.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And if they do find songs with like cuss-free versions or like the
Sure.
explicit content removed. Like they'll play that version instead, but like it is actually it is very nicely put together. So I set up my daughter's, great, and we didn't realize that when I did it, for some reason, the Amazon Kids did not get enabled on hers. And that's fine because she's 6. She's listening to like Disney stuff, for cripe's sake. Like it's, and K-pop Demon Hunters, let's be honest. So she's listening to like all the different songs from those things, and that's great. So she's not like scouring like, can you play Marilyn Manson? It's like, no, you're not.
Is she asking Jeeves yet?
She's not asking Jeeves yet.
Okay.
Although she does compliment Alexa.
Okay.
Like she will just randomly like, Alexa, you're just the nicest. Like you really are like going to be just fine when AI takes over.
You know what's the best part of that? And I'm not telling you this as a parent. I'm telling you this as just a pure curiosity thing, which I've done is you can go back into your Alexa app and look at all of the prompts you've ever said to Alexa.
Oh, wow.
It's comical when I go back. I'm like, wow, I play a lot of music for my dog.
When
I leave the apartment.
Wild.
It's like, Alexa, play music for dogs.
Oh my gosh.
I
don't know if I want to look.
It just heard me.
There we go. Yeah, I don't think I want to look because my kids kind of abuse Alexa. Like, it's like they'll listen to 3 seconds or something. It's like, play this one next. It's like, oh my God, just dude, chill. Anyway, it's going way longer than I needed. So as part of the Amazon Kids not being enabled, there's certain features that that don't happen, or that if you have it enabled, they won't work. For example, if you have playlists, you can't ask her to play specific playlists. Like, it just won't do it. If you don't have it enabled, just for anybody, then you can. My daughter was like, she was just like, hey, Alexa, play whatever, my list. And it was playing it. So my son's like, oh, sweet, you can do that? I didn't know that. So he tries doing it. But since Kids was enabled on his, it wouldn't work. And he was kind of getting, like, not upset, but like, what the heck? What am I doing wrong? I don't get it. And I am trying to maneuver around the house, clean up a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And he comes over by me and he's a little distraught that this is happening. And it clearly means a lot to him that this is not working. And my response was like, dude, just don't worry about it right now. So he walks off kind of defeated. And it was in that moment I realized, oh, I just took it's not a big deal to him.
Yeah.
As soon as he was walking away and I just saw it happen in real time, I thought, oh, okay. So I went over to him like, hey, bud, show me what's going on. And thankfully, this all happened because that's how we realized, oh, this isn't enabled. We got to get that in. Like,
yeah.
So it was a good thing that it happened, and I was able to work it out. Like, hey, bud, I just realized I took it's not a big deal token. And that left you with it is a big deal. And he was like, yeah, I kind of felt that. Like, okay. So I worked with him. We got it all situated.
L&D dick.
Yes. But I really will. I will die on this hill. It does happen like that quickly.
Yeah.
That in my head, I was like, dude, it's not a big deal. God, like, just step away. And no, it was a big deal to him. So yeah, as soon as I turned around, I was like, okay, no, man, you got my attention. Let's get this figured out. As soon as we did, that's when he was like, Dad, you could have just left it. It's okay. So he had the not big deal. Like, so it was funny how it switched. It was pretty cool. But so not awesome. As funny as getting served alcohol at an NA event, but still. But still just kind of a real-time event that just happened. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I feel like our banter kind of took a while.
Yeah. It's the new year. We got new ideas.
It's true. And it's been 2.5 weeks since we've talked.
I know.
Like, it's been a minute. So, do you want to kick us off on our topic for the day?
Let's do it. I'd love to.
All right, man. So, let's rock.
We've been winding down this whole 6+ weeks of the holiday season. We talked about New Year's resolutions or affirmations, however you want to go about it. Time to kind of wipe the slate clean, as you mentioned before. And I love that whole thing of, restarting and all that.
Yeah.
And so with all that said, I thought it'd be a great way to kick off our first episode of 2026 by looking at the crystal ball and coming up with we'll say a couple hot takes or predictions for 2026 in the learning development space. If you forgot, that is what our podcast is about. The adulting part of our podcast is going to be what I'll say is an absolute shit show for you and I. That's just how we normally live. So we're gonna forego that part. So let's just focus on L&D. And Steve, I want to start off with I'm not going to give the hot takes. I'm just going to give some trends that I think are going to possibly take place.
Okay.
And so my first one is that AI will continue to step its huge 23 sized shoe footprint into the corporate world, even learning development.
Yeah.
So while I don't think our jobs are going anywhere, we're not going to lose out on AI.
No.
I think L&D practitioners will continue to utilize the ChatGPTs, the Geminis, Copilots, etc., as they design and research topics. Yeah. I don't exactly know what that will look like, but I think it will involve more AI-generated slide decks, crafting emails, which, by the way, I hope those are reviewed by human eyes. And perhaps curriculum development in some sort of way. Again, I don't know what the percentages look like at the current state we're in, but I would say that a number of professionals that start using AI will climb, I'm going to say by like 20% of those that maybe do it now.
I think that's a completely valid, that's definitely not a hot take, man. Like, you're right. I think that's a totally legitimate trend that we are seeing that really started taking hold and fruition, in mid 23, like when ChatGPT first came out, something like that, right? Like, you've just seen this exponential increase. I agree with you.
And I used it more in 2025 than at all. So I think, yes, to your point, slowly started getting up there. And I think I was one of those like hesitant, wasn't sure what it was in 2024. And then last year I just went to town.
Yeah. It's no secret to anybody that has listened to me speak at all on this subject that I'm a bit of a noob. And I was definitely a late adopter. I kind of looked at it as like, do I really need that?
Yeah.
But I use it personally more as a secondary individual to bounce ideas off of. Like,
correct.
Hey, what do you think of this? And then I'll take those different prompts and then try to figure out like, ooh, there's this morsel of a nugget that I want to use, or kind of go from there. Yeah. I think your 20% might even be lowballing, genuinely, because I think more and more people are going to start seeing this affiliation and this value of using this tool. And I cannot stress it enough. And Patrick, you tell me what you think. I know we've had this conversation. I legitimately, and I want to eat my own words someday, I really don't look at the current ideal of what AI is as like the sky is falling. I really don't. I look at it more as a tool. It's a supplemental part of your belt that you can use to help make your job a little bit easier. And perhaps it's incorrect to equate these things, but I look at it very much like how Excel, like Microsoft's Excel, had to have looked to accountants in like the 90s. Like, they had to have seen this and been like, oh no, like, it does all the math and the formulas for us. Like, we're screwed. Now, I want you to go into any company, and I want you to walk into like their accounting area and point out one person that does not use that software. Like, no, they all do. They live on it. Are you kidding? Like, they're doing pivot tables and everything else. Like, no, they know how to use it. They can do it with their eyes closed. It has made their jobs not only more efficient, but far more effective than just a piece of paper writing things down, or that little calculator that you'd always see on someone's desk, like the roll of paper.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't need that anymore. And this is just that next evolutionary step. In my humble opinion, that is the way I see it. But when Skynet becomes real, which really will probably just be OpenAI, is my guess. So when that actually takes place, I can't wait for them to install strings on me like a puppet and just have me repeat that to them in like their court. Yeah,
Are you trying to say that
I'm an
our
idiot.
podcast might actually be AI in the future?
Beep boop beep.
I should have added
Maybe I
that.
am.
Hot
Maybe
take.
I am.
Steve and I are gonna be replaced by robots by December of 2026.
Hell, I think that's I absolutely agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment regarding AI. It's just going to continue to go up, and I think that it's going to be more pervasive. You're going to see it more and more,
Right.
which is going to make it harder and harder to ignore. Yeah.
So what do you have for one of your ideas?
So interestingly, as far as the AI stuff goes, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. I like to think of the current market as just being this like very exaggerated, extremely volatile, unknown entity. And I think AI plays a huge factor into that. Like, I don't, if anybody out there that's listening is somebody that pays attention to like the financial markets, like they talk about the AI bubble, and it's insane. Like, it is crazy huge. Like, Nvidia has one of the largest like GDP caps. Like, it's just, it's absolutely madness. So I think with all of that, like, we're hearing all about these technological advances and how things are being streamlined. With that, I'm going to say it's a hot take in this one.
Okay.
I don't think it's a trend. I genuinely think this is going to be more of a hot take, where I think we're going to see a rise in L&D focuses on upskilling and reskilling of employees. That it's not going to be like one size fits just this one individual niche. Like, we want employees to have more branches. And the way to do that is to educate and train them in ways that make sense for the organization.
Sure.
I hope that makes some sense. But I think like with that unpredictability, companies are looking for predictability, and they can at least predict their employee models and what they know compared to what they wish they knew.
Sure.
So that's where I'm sitting. I'll take my tinfoil hat off now.
Do you think that ties in a little bit with the idea of cultural humility, where it's not so much the competence part? I know we've talked about that before, where, you know, your cultural competence is focusing, you know, more on knowing everything about specific groups or cultures, or in your instance about specific skills that they wish they knew, versus the humility part is more about learning where they're at.
That's a good question. I have not given it a ton of thought in that directive. I haven't thought of it in that.
Because I think it sounds like what you were saying, as far as, again, just with even the reskilling of going about, okay, these are things that you have learned, or maybe need to learn a little bit more on. And so we're going to kind of hit that, versus like, this is the ideal part of where someone needs to go. Well, if it doesn't fit their job tasks, then do they need to know it right now? Maybe for the future, for future positions, but where do we need to be right now? What's our goal for 2026? Versus what's our goal for 2030?
Sure. I can kind of delve more into this. Maybe this will make a bit more sense in where my head's at. And I probably just did not explain it well enough. I look at it, for example, like, you have an organization that is going through changes because of the way the market is right now. It doesn't matter if it's like financial, geopolitical, it does not matter. Like, every company is impacted by the way the markets are.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that organizations can retain control is retaining their employees. And if there's a position that somebody has that maybe is starting to fall to the wayside a little bit, like, it was important 2-3 years ago, but it's becoming less and less important to the organization, as it is now,
got it.
they can reskill that individual, and that saves the organization time from retaining new employees, from the marketing for new employees, interview sessions. Like, hiring people costs a lot of money.
I'm glad you said that. It's crazy.
Insane. Yeah, it is. Like, most, I swear to God, as a L&D person, because folks out there that are not in learning and development, you're going to learn something new right now. One of the biggest parts of learning and development is employee retention. Like, it is. It's like the unspoken little rule about learning and development is that we are there to help retain employees. We want you to be engaged. We want you to learn more. We want you to be happy in your role, and happy employees tend to be educated employees. So with all of that, if you can retool somebody, reskill somebody from the skill set that they have into a more competent position or something they can produce more at, companies will spend less doing that than going out into the market, finding somebody, paying them way into the high market value for that individual, giving them bonuses or whatever else. Then you have their onboarding. So there's huge costs go into this. That's why I think with how volatile things are, trying to upskill and reskill employees is going to be a major trend that we see. Because especially in 25, even 24, you saw a lot of layoffs taking place. So people are starting to get into industries maybe because their back's up against the wall and they're like, I just needed to take a job. Those employees are now starting to embed themselves in these organizations, and they need to learn in order to do their position more competently.
The quote that comes to mind with all of that is, and I'm sure you've heard it before, and I probably have said it either to you or on the air before, but the quote of employers saying, what if we train our employees and they leave? Well, the reverse on that is, what if we don't train them and they stay?
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're
absolutely right. Yes.
So that's the idea. Yeah. The retention part of it is, you're going to retain employees, but do they know what they're doing? Are they going in the direction you want them to? Oh, if you train them and they leave, well, train your employees. You want them to be better. If another opportunity comes along, you should be happy for them, not worrying about that they're going to leave. And if you are, you have the employee, you have the engagement, that's going to help keep people there as well. So I love that point.
I think that fantastic phrase is dead accurate. Like, it really is. Anybody listening, you just look at the organizations that you are either a part currently or have been in the past, and you look at how they treat their employees as far as training goes. That will tell you everything you need to know about their growth.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
Places that don't invest in employees, they become stagnant. They remain at a level and they sometimes drop off. You're right. What happens if they stay and they don't know? Yeah, if they're not trained, they're not educated. Could not agree more. And I know I've heard you say that. So yes, I thoroughly agree with you. Yeah. All right, let me get off my soapbox and take my tinfoil hat off and all that stuff. Help me out here, man. What do you have another one?
Yeah, I'd love to talk to share another thought I had too, is that I think we're going to see more companies evolve a little bit, where they're going to focus more on micro learnings versus just the standalone trainings. So I think obviously those standalones are still important, but for example, my organization, we've started to focus on this idea of micro learnings, at least on the drawing board. Like, this is kind of what we're mapping out. Okay.
Yeah.
We've taken some small steps, but we started a podcast at my organization last fall. In the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. And the ones we've recorded so far, the solo episodes that I'm actually hosting, they're like 5 to 6 minute little punches, information segments on specific topics in this space. Okay.
Yes.
If I interview someone in the county, which I've interviewed a couple people, 15 to 20 minutes tops. Sure. So I can see us and perhaps other organizations even kicking out some leadership type e-learnings or some video series that you
Very
would
cool.
possibly see on YouTube. And we've harped on this before, but our favorites of the Brené Brown, the Simon Sinek's of the world, why?
Yes.
What's the point? Why are we reinventing the wheel there? Why repeat their efforts? Because I love them and I like using them in training. But I think organizations can thrive when they use their own in-house talent. Make it more relatable to your employees. So if there's something coming from my organization where we talk about what is it, making a video series about what do these different departments do? Because we got 4,000 employees, right? We don't know every day. What's a life in the what's a day in the life of this employee? And you see a quick 2-3 minute thing like, oh, cool, that's what they do there. That's what they do there. It gives you more of a sense of pride. It can hit home more when you've got actual internal employees focusing on the content versus great. You played us to Simon Sinek and he does sound cool. I'd like to hang out with the guy, grab some coffee with him. But like, why couldn't we heard that from you? So,
yeah, I definitely like the idea of micro learning. And I know that's such that was like a red button phrase used probably 2017 to about like 2020, 2021. But I don't think it's really going anywhere. We are addicts of short form content. And if you just look at TikTok, look at the popularity of TikTok or your Instagram stories, right? Like they're short form content and they're meant to be engaging, quick, and effective. They teach you something or tell you something in a quick little burst and you walk away and go, I now know everything about this. When no, you don't. You just have been introduced. That's it. Now it's up to the L&D people to be like, okay, let's talk a little bit about this. Right?
Yes.
Interestingly, one of the things that I really like about what you say there about, I like Brené Brown. I love Brené Brown. Simon Sinek, amazing, great, like powerful orators. But I love that you said that bit about like, well, why couldn't we hear that from you? Like, it sounds more personalized from you. This is not actually one of the things I originally planned on talking about, but I think that the technology is getting better and better and better for video creation. That it used to be an organization want to make a video, right? Like, Patrick, you want to make a video on whatever, some specific topic, and it want to be 15 to 20 minutes long. It used to be, and when I say that, I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, that you may hire like an outside agency to come in and film like a real video. And you'd have branding on it and all that kind of stuff. And then as you get into like your mid 20 teens, whatever, then smartphones were so much easier. You just sit there and record it. I love that I'm showing you, Patrick, like people can see what I'm holding in my hand. Anyway.
The asterisk on this whole comment real quick is that video recording, not for us, the podcast.
Yes.
That is one exception that does not qualify.
No. Oh, but God, no.
To your point.
Yes. So then you'd record on your phone and then upload it. And there's plenty of video editing materials out there now. But there is, speaking of AI, you were talking about the AI adoption. There are tons of AI tools for video editing where you can create avatars of individuals. And one of the things that I have seen companies run into is, let's just say you record a video and you include many different employees. Well, what happens if one of those employees leaves? It kind of makes that video awkward, right? Like, so being able to utilize AI or avatars or maybe like cartoon caricatures, like your Vions, for example, you can utilize those things, still get the content out there, make it engaging, but you can do it way quicker and far more efficiently. So I that's an exciting venture for you guys. I think you will have a lot of fun doing that.
That sounds really great suggestion. Really cool too about utilizing some of that AI technology with to your point of make it relevant, but also current, especially if you have people coming and going.
Yeah.
It just makes it a little tougher. So
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, do you have any another trend that you were thinking of, or
yeah, I think so. Mine's kind of in opposition of what your micro learning, but
thanks for joining us, everybody.
No, this is my hot take. I don't see it as a trend, as a prediction, whatever you want to say. I think there's going to be a continued rise of in-person facilitation.
Okay.
More so than the virtual stuff. So to your credit, though, I think microlearning is a very different monster than webinars, right? Like, because it's short burst content.
Webinars. Remember those?
Yeah, but like it is like people don't want to be they don't want to be held hostage virtually for 4 hours. God, if they're going to do that, they almost would rather be in person. You get the dynamic of the group.
Yes.
That I do feel that organizations are starting to revert back to those things, like to the point that I feel like now if I bring up at the place that I work, if I bring up e-courses or like adding content to our learning management system, it's almost met with revulsion. Like, oh, well, isn't there a way we could just do that? It's like, we can do two things at the same time. We can have an in-person, an in-person facilitation, record it, and then put it on our LMS for people that couldn't make that. Like, we can cater to two different audiences. It's okay. Like, I'm not trying to replace myself. Okay. It's all right. So I do think that microlearning, as it is as a short form content form, will probably increase because that's just the way the world is going towards content. But I do also see it coinciding with a rise in in-person facilitation.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I completely agree too with your thought of going away from the virtual. I think we've started to see this shift last year, more in-person meetings, more in-person trainings. And I completely agree. And I know you and I are on the same page. We like to facilitate in person.
Yeah. It's great.
You get the energy, you get read the room, you're going to have more people participating. So that's definitely a good.
I genuinely think people are hungover from COVID. Like, for those of you that were in the professional workforce during COVID, everything, for the most part, everything was virtual. And so the virtual education was push. Now you're starting to kind of see the pendulum swing the other way of like, oh my God, if I have to attend one more webinar, I am going to punch all the tablets in the world, right? So they're starting to circle back to, I want to be on site and get that exposure. I'm completely in your boat with that too. Yeah.
That is a great point.
Do you know what people aren't sick of and don't have hangovers from?
I think it's probably the Spinnerooski.
The Spinnerooski? The only thing that's being hung over with that was the fact that it took place in a towny bar basement. Like, that is the only hangover as part of the Spinnerooski.
I was most likely hungover that day after I got punched in the throat. Or
I still haven't found my ego. Still haven't found it.
Oh, you're still looking for it?
Yep.
Jeez. Well, it's probably laying on the side of the road next to my CD deck.
All right, folks. Patrick, while you fire up that wheel, I'm just going to briefly explain what the Spinnerooski is for anybody out there that may not be familiar. Each episode, Patrick and I take a moment to spin the Spinnerooski, which is a wheel with a host of names that could potentially be associated with the unknown woman that gave Patrick and I the greatest gift, and that is the Ugly Club. And if you're unfamiliar with all of that stuff, do yourself a favor, go back to episode 1 and listen to your heart and your pleasures. So with that, all right, Patrick, spin that wheel.
Here we go. Boom.
Hey! What was that? What do we got?
Anna.
Anna. Oh my God. That, you know how we talk about coincidences? Like
Yes,
on this show,
often.
specifically with the Spinnerooski.
Yes, often.
I don't think this is a spoiler by any means. But if you are very concerned, you can fast forward 30 seconds. I said that my wife and I went to go see the Anaconda movie. It had like Paul Rudd and Jack Black yesterday. And it's just like dumb comedy. Like, you don't even have to be paying attention. Like, it is dumb comedy. Well, there's a character in her. Her name is Anna. And they made a joke and said, "Oh, I know. Why don't you call the movie Anaconda?" Because they were like jealous of this woman. This was just last night. This is so weird, but wow.
That is, people, we do not plan this. This is totally random. It's a freaking wheelofnames.com. You're all probably familiar with it by now. Any random giveaways on your social media, everyone uses Wheel of Names. That's what we're possibly using. And it's,
it is wild. Like, the amount of that's crazy. Just, anyway. Wow. Okay. So thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for everything that you've given us. And we really appreciate you. And we hope you feel appreciated being our Spinnerooski name of the week.
Anna, I kind of remember you now. Did you happen?
See her being an Anna.
Yeah.
I can see that. 1,000%. Yeah. All right, should we kick this one out, man?
Yeah, let's do it. So that about does it for this episode, our first one in 2026. Mm-hmm. We want to thank everyone out in listener land for joining us on Grossly Competent.
Whee!
If you like what you're hearing and want to support the show, here are some of the best ways possible. You can
subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can visit us on Buzzsprout at grosslycompetent.buzzsprout.com. Here, you can become an active supporter and help us with the show. Every cent counts and is greatly appreciated. You can give us a shout on Instagram at our handle at grosslycompetent. You can email us directly at grosslycompetent@gmail.com. You can use the link at the top of the show notes to send us a message. But we would love it more than anything if you would tell your friends, family, coworkers, or that super duper awesome learning and development person that you're going to see in person, right? Because of the in-person training, let them know all about this podcast.
We truly appreciate all of you for listening. Any form of support you can provide does truly mean the world to us. This is a labor of love, and we do really thoroughly enjoy bringing it to you each and every week.
Yeah, without a doubt. So this is normally where I like to give a weekly listener shout out. And I'm going to cheat. This isn't from the week. This is from a couple weeks ago. So we had the holiday break, Patrick and I did. And over that holiday, my wife's cousin and her fiance traveled from Arizona all the way to the frozen tundra of the great state of Wisconsin to celebrate Christmas with all of us and her family.
Love it.
Yeah. And while they were here at my house, hanging out, chatting it up, they told me that they had spent their 17-hour car ride listening to what catalog we had.
Shut
Grossly Competent
up. No way.
Yep. Every episode. And I was like, no way. And they were able to like, awesome. Hey, yeah, remember how you guys talked about like they knew all the little like nuggets of the things that we talked about. So Sammy and Jesse, I just gotta tell you, you guys are amazing, and you seriously just hit me right in the heartstrings when you were talking to me about that. Just absolutely melted my heart.
Like they've seen me naked.
You were like, so we hear you, Steve, but who is that absolute stunning, sultry voice that accompanies you? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean
Patrick?
Oh, the guy that was on WISN Channel 12 in Milwaukee, featured on a segment for his business? Am I dropping that here on my podcast?
You should be. Do you know, is it up on YouTube?
It is on zeroproofpass.com.
Oh my god.
Video.
Okay, that is awesome.
Yeah, and if you are not in the Milwaukee area, it's a perfect time to purchase your passport and come to Milwaukee for like, I don't know, a month or two and just use the book.
Or maybe just talk to Patrick about extending it into your city. Just saying,
that's look at you. You're good at marketing. Or we can talk about topping off our NA drinks with some alcohol.
Yeah, you know what? On Instagram, how about that? Please send us your times that somebody has given you booze when you didn't know.
God, I love it.
No, I'm actually being serious. Please,
oh, okay.
We would love that so much.
That would be great. Great story. Yes, I will be able to relate to you.
All right, folks. I think that does it for this episode. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all have wonderful 2026s. As long as you keep listening to us, we want to be a part of your 2026. Until next time, folks, see you later.
Later. Ugly. Oh, 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 oh. Ugly out, ugly out.
Ugly out.
How long are you going to keep doing that while I gyrated?
As long as I needed to, Patrick. As long as I needed.
That's a nice deep voice you got there.